Thank you. Finally, we're good. So I just came back from the farm, Jerric. So sabi ko, I have to go back to the house because I have a meeting at 3 o'clock. Oh no. Okay. So are we good? All right. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another conversation. And I'm so happy that today, and specifically this afternoon, I'm going to be talking, or we're going to be talking with engineer Jerric Delfin. So he is an alumnus of Central Mindanao University. It seems that I to mostly alumni of Central Mindanao University. I think that is really the case because I am very inspired by many of the alumni of the university where I'm working. And it is the case of an older person becoming fueled by, the good things that are happening among the young people, and specifically with Jerric. Jerric, by the way, was never my student, but hopefully we can relate the story why we have this kind of friendship and relationship. And he is one of the most inspiring young people I know. And that's why I said it's going to be good to talk to him and to listen to him, because you can glean a lot of wisdom, especially from his experience. And so stop talking so that we would hear from him. So Jerric, welcome to what I do, the extra things that I do. But really, it's a matter of catch up, because the last time I talked to you was, I don't know when was that, 3 months ago? Was
I
that
think
3 months
so.
ago, or more than that? Yeah. So um, you're going to learn why. So Jerric is from the College of Engineering, and I'm from the College of Agriculture, and he was never my student. But this is a blessing for me that I don't know. The universe has found a way for us to connect, and so learning from one another. And I'm just very grateful to have these young people in my life who who keep fueling the commitment in me to serve more the students of the university. So, Jerric, can you please introduce yourself? I've said a little bit about you, but it would be nice for them to know about you.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Jerric Delfin. So actually, my life and Ma'am Joy's life is kind of reminiscent. We're both children of Filipino farmers. What's actually weird is, Ma'am Joy finished his BS and MS in UPLB, and she is teaching now in CMU, while I finished my BS in CMU, and I'm actually teaching right now in UPLB. So I got uh, I got to meet Ma'am Joy, and finally become one of my life mentors, even if we are miles away, not through simple chats, simple comments in Facebook, and I actually appreciate that. Very small things that keep us human on a daily basis. And I finished my BS in CMU, and then Ma'am J wrote a recommendation
Yeah,
letter for me to apply for
later.
RRC.
You can talk
Later.
about it later. Let's talk
Okay.
about your academics. Like you did your BS. What
I did.
degree? You had your
Okay.
honors. You had your plea, so that it's going to. I do believe it's not about boosting, but it's about inspiring young people. You did mention that we both come from farming family, so we know difficulties in life, struggles in life. That's why your life is very inspiring. I can see a lot of parallels in my life and in your life, but somehow in reverse, a little bit in reverse, because you pointed that out. Um, I'm based in your alma mater, and you are actually working. You're based in my alma mater in UPLD, so there are parallels, but kind of opposite. But please don't be shy to to share a little bit
Okay.
more about your undergraduate life in CMU.
I finished my BS degree in CMU. My degree is mechanical engineering. It's quite far from the the field of Ma'am Joy, and I graduated magna cum laude and plus valedictorian. I'm also a board top-notcher. I ranked 9th place during the February 2018 board examination for mechanical engineers. And I'm an awardee of the 5610 Outstanding Students of the Philippines. It's one of the longest running student recognition in the country. So it is conferred in Malacanang Palace by the President of the Republic. So it's a great honor to represent CMU in that prestigious award. And currently I am working in UPLB. I was, but before I joined UPLB, I was working in Meralco. But one day the phone rang and my seemingly corporate job and corporate plans for myself is seemingly changed. So I was deliberately selected to join the pioneering faculty who instituted the BS Mechanical Engineering program and the Department of Mechanical Engineering for UPLB, and we will be offering the BS Mechanical Engineering program, the pioneering batch, this September 2021. So we will be welcoming the freshmen. They will be the pioneering batch, and I'm
So your
currently,
semester in sorry about that. Your semester in the first semester in UPLB will start by September.
yeah,
Okay.
the first time will begin in September 30.
Okay. All right. Let me just emphasize that because that's really good to know. So because Jerric doesn't, I'm gonna sort of emphasize things for him. So right after he finished his after he topped the board, he worked for Meralco. How long did you work for Meralco? You were based in Manila, definitely.
Yes,
How long did you work there?
it's 15 months, so
15 months
1 year and 3
and
months.
3 months. And then you got recruited. I think you sort of got recruited, right?
Yes.
Yeah, recruited. Because for the information of everybody, although UPLB is an old school, it doesn't have the mechanical engineering program. CMU has been offering mechanical engineering for a long, long time. And there are a lot actually of people who, well, friends from UPLB, from CMU who know one another. And so I think they've heard of Engineer Jerric Delfin, and he was actively recruited to be part of the faculty, so pioneering faculty siya. And finally, so what did you do? Because you joined UPLB way back in when was that?
That's October 2019. I joined UPLB October
2019. What did you do? Because you will be offering for the program only just by September this year. So what did you do then?
We actually did a lot of things, from the preparation of the course syllabus, the program itself, the proposal for the DS degree, as well as the proposal for the institution of mechanical engineering degree. So it's actually a lot of things to that we did, and it's actually two of us who were mechanical engineering majors who were working on a lot of papers. So aside from my teaching responsibilities, we also drafted the curriculum, the proposal for the institution of mechanical engineering.
So you were kind of part of the think tank and so the ME program. It's like your brainchild together with some of your colleagues. So that's very amazing. Yeah, so that's exciting then. Yeah, before we go to your work in UPLB, let's backtrack a little bit because maybe not everybody caught up what you said that you actually was TOSP awardee. So TOSP, it's a byword for a lot of students before, but I'm not very sure, especially with online learning now. I'm not sure if the young people are very aware what TOSP is. So it's the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines, and annually they would select the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines, and it's very competitive. And let's backtrack a little bit because I told everybody that you were never my student. So I actually first met Jerric sort of when I was still working for the Press Relations and Information Office of the university. I was their editor-in-chief, and then we were publishing this magazine called Bulwark. And one of the sections in that magazine was to feature outstanding students, and he was featured. And technically, it was not me who interviewed him, but it was another colleague that was Leo, whom I will be talking hopefully soon, talking online, hopefully soon. That was Leo, and I edited the final output, the final write-up about Jerric, and I was really impressed. So I think that was just it. We never even met in person, and then here comes your application for TOSP, and I think that was the start. That I got to learn more about you, your life, your family life, your student life, and it's such an honor for you. I don't know how many students of CMU have won, have got the recognition of being one of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. Many have applied. I think annually, CMU always nominates at least one, but many of them would only become finalists, maybe at the regional level or finalists at the national level, but only a few have been recognized to be part of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. So you're one of them. If I'm not mistaken, there was one previously. I think, are you the second? Are you the second CMU one who was at USP? Or the third?
I think I'm the third one. But I don't know who's the first one, but the second one I think is Miss Janua Polinar.
Okay, so I think the first one was Miss Kabahog. Then there's another one whom I didn't know, and then you're the third one. Okay, so sige. People need to realize that you graduated with honors, you graduated valedictorian for your class, so you were so focused on studies, and then you had time to do leadership responsibilities because you cannot be nominated for the USP if you don't have a track record for student leadership. So may we know, please, may I know what was your leadership track in CMU?
I was the former chairperson of the College of Engineering Student Council. I was also the former president of the CMU DOST Scholar Society. I have held other leadership positions, but that's actually started when I joined this volunteer organization, the CMU Tutorial Club. So we help students who have difficulties in, particularly in maths and sciences. So I get to tutor some students in CMU, and we also have outreach programs outside CMU. So it was that time that my network within CMU was expanded, and then I was able to join other organizations and eventually led organizations like CMU, the OST Scholar Society, and the College of Engineering Student Council as the president and the chairperson.
Right. I didn't know that you sort of volunteered, that aside from assuming top positions in your college and in other organizations, you also actually volunteered, shared your gifts in math and other things. So that's, I'm not sure if you told me about that. Maybe I sort of knew, but maybe I just forgot. Maybe that was not emphasized. So I'm curious, Jerric, how do you define leadership?
I think for me, leadership is first is influence, and then being able to manage changes. Kasi what differentiates a leader to a manager is that, a manager does the business as usual things, but being a leader, you should be able to create and ripple change and manage the changes in our organization. So I think when you talk about change, you should always walk the talk. Like, we cannot simply just offer the lip service that no matter how good our words are, no matter how good we present our strategies in the PowerPoint presentation, your strategy is just as good as the execution. So for me, it's about influence, being able to mobilize others, and also to manage change, to create change.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear about, especially the third part about being able to manage change or having a positive mindset about change. And maybe from what I know of you, maybe that really helped because you've been through several major changes in life, no, both personal and also professionally. And maybe because of that mindset, because of that principle, change is something that is positive and it actually would fuel you more or fuel you forward rather than pull you down. I think that's something that is it's interesting, and I hope a lot of young people and student leaders would also agree with your definition of leadership. All right. So what else? So you had your you did tutoring, you had volunteerism work. Did you work together with Angela Asenas, or I couldn't remember which one, who among, well, which one of you is younger or older?
I'm younger than Angelo. He's ahead of me. He's my senior. Actually,
Okay.
he's my senpai for 1 year.
Okay.
And I worked with him uh, in CMU Tutorial Club and we
Mm,
touch in teach project. We
okay.
went to Paglaong village and we aim to enhance the numeracy and literacy of displaced families in Paglaong
Mm-hmm.
village, Valencia.
Yeah. If I may, if you would allow me to sort of integrate a little bit, what I believe, although you did not mention it, no, I think that one of the traits that you have, but you did not mention it when it comes to leadership, is that you have the predisposition for service. That's why you had volunteerism. No, without any expectation, um, ikaw yung nag-effort, walang bayad, etc. In fact, you have to maybe shell out some money from your own pocket, but you did that. And for me, that's really good mark of a servant leader, because a good leader knows how to serve first before recognition follows. So I think I would just like to put that in, because yeah, I saw that in you. By the way, we mentioned Angelo. Angelo Estanas is also another engineering alumnus. Although ano nga bang ano ni Angelo Estanas? ME din ba siya or electrical or civil?
He's ME.
Pareho kayong ME.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
He's
sorry.
technically my senpai,
I
my senior.
see. Okay. Talagang literally senior in the department. All right. So thank you for that. Okay. Where should we proceed? Can you please tell us? Can we go back to the TOSP, because it's one of the highest recognition of leadership. No, you did not run for any university level position. I think you did not run for USCO or for SSC, but you served solely for your college as well as other organizations. So, what is? Can you please tell us more about the USP? Although you've said about it, what the acronym stands for. What does it mean for you to be considered, and how was it? How was the process of being recognized as a TOSP?
So I'll begin with the process of application first. So there's actually a school level screening and we submitted our documents. It's actually called a bid book. It compiles all your accomplishments, all the things you did in college, all the um, seminars you joined, all the activities you led, your transcripts, all honors you received in college. It's actually a very strenuous uh, job to compile all your accomplishments. But I think the
Maybe
core
because
of
you have a lot. Maybe because you have a lot of accomplishment. That's why your book was thick.
but I think the major hurdle there is writing the essays because it tells a lot about your character and values, and it's the only way you can express yourself and to bring up yourself to the panel. And
Mhm.
it's kind of sentimental on my end because I was able to recall my past and then think of what I have in the present and then also try to imagine what I can have in the future, knowing that I got all these things. at
Mm.
hand. And um, for me, no, TOSP is first like just as how Pia said it. No, it's both an honor and a responsibility. It's an honor because it's not everyone that receives this award,
Mm.
and I think that I speak on behalf of people who can't even speak for themselves and people who are not well represented. And I think it's also a responsibility because we are all blessed with different skills, talents, and attributes. But just as it is written in the Bible, to whom much is given, to whom much is expected. So um, to whom men have committed much of him, they will
Mm.
ask them more. So
Mhm.
I think i- it's it's a duty to share your talents, your gifts, to share your time, your energy, and resources to uplift other people in whatever means, whether you do volunteer work, whether you engage in a speaking engagement. And I think this is also one way of extending the goodness of God and the goodness of the universe to other people, that despite of the things that we have right now, we can still rise up. And um, I always believe that uh, nothing is impossible, it is just difficult. But
Mhm.
what makes it more difficult is when you lose your interest, your enthusiasm, your drive. If you lose purpose, if you lose meaning, then it makes everything just difficult if you don't have that. So um, I think that's what I also wanted to emphasize, that as a TOSP awardee, I'd like also to humanize uh, the the part of being an awardee, because other people might think that he's too smart, he's too perfect,
Mhm.
um, he's too upright with our societal standards, something like that. But all of us, we're not perfect. We all have imperfections, and I think that's what makes it more beautiful to rise, to exude the what's positive in us, than um to to be sorry or to wallow on our uh how do you call this, our imperfections, our shortcomings. So I think that's it. I wanted to humanize the the aspect of uh that aspect of being a ETOSP awardee. We can
Right.
we can all make it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that. I certainly agree that the true mark of leaders actually would come up when they go through difficulties. No, character is built upon difficulties. So, imperfections, challenges, difficulties, those would define character. And I know of some details of your personal story, uh, personal difficulties in your life growing up. And I think that really helped. No, you rose up and gave you strength of character, and those are the things that later on in life enabled you to have the strength, endurance, and I think resilience of character. Um, and there's going to be more. I think there would always be some people in our communities who may not affirm you or us all the time. They're there perhaps to be like sandpaper. Um, Anyone who is meant for a greater purpose, there would always be some people who would be like sandpaper, and actually they would rub on you, but they would serve actually to help refine you. And there's no question about the level of your intelligence. There's no question about the level of your competence. But um, what is the most important thing is actually continuous refinement of character. So I don't know why we are leading into this one, because for the information of everybody, this is a very random This is a very random conversation. This is a very random talk. There are no questions given earlier. So I believe that that's the direction. I think it's kind of really deep, and that's why I love talking to you. No, seldom do seldom do I have younger people. Come on, our age gap is so wide, and but I really appreciate talking to young people with a lot of substance and a lot of wisdom, and I appreciate people who appreciate the difficulties in their life and in their past. Who are not resentful of the challenges that they have had when they were growing up. Because just like you, I've had a lot of struggles, but uh, even if this would be cliche to say, so those difficulties made us stronger, stronger. Not physically maybe, but stronger in character. Although we are still works in progress. No, we still have a lot of things to refine, attitude, values, and character-wise. But that's one of the things I always believe that I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for, sabi ko nga, not many people would know, pero ang buhay ko parang maalaala mo kaya or magkailanman. But not everybody knows the details of my personal life kasi hindi ako masyadong madaldal when it comes to personal life. I talk about topics and I converse with issues and ideas, but I seldom talk about personal life. Only a few people know the very details of my personal life. But suffice to say, I would always say I'm grateful for all the hardships and the difficulties. Of course, when you were on those moments of difficulties, of course, you always had na, I wish walang ganito, I wish walang ganyan. But, well, those things happen. You always have storms and hurricanes in life, in my life. And now that I'm much older, I said, wow, thank you, Lord. Thank you, universe. I'm grateful for all those things because here I am. I can go through, could just recall, okay, another difficulty, fine. I'm the kind of person na talagang very vocal. Magbagut-batud ko pag na-difficulty. Pero it's more of because a difficulty should not be a difficulty if, we are allowed to just try to offer solutions to the problem and how to resolve the problem. But we don't always get to have that freedom to try our ideas to solve a particular problem. But well, that's it. But when you recall, you would always think, this too shall pass. It may be a verse in the Bible, but in your life, because you are the living testimony that any difficulty, this too shall pass, because you have that resilience, you built that resilience in throughout the year. So, bakit ba tayo napunta dito? But anyway, this is so...
Parang recollection.
Yeah. But anyway, because you did say that, having the TOSP recognition is put a human face, to humanize that recognition, that it's not something na, wow, you would be placed in a pedestal once you're one of the awardees, but you were able to gain that particular recognition because you were also one of the regular normal people who went through this, and because of a mindset or your attitude towards life, you have to have the ability to adapt to changes and look at changes for opportunities and blessings rather than for something else. Sige, parang napakaseryoso naman. Sige, let's well, maybe that's meant to be, especially that school is about to start for CMU. The first semester will start on August 9. So it's very funny because enrollment is going on, and I have been enrolling and doing virtual interviews for students who are interested to major in our department. And somebody yesterday asked me, Ma'am, kailan po ba ang start ng classes? Sabi ko, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to admit that I don't know. I sort of, because I don't want to think about the start of the semester, because right now I'm doing so much work, and I said, okay, I need to know about that as part of preparation. So I know that it's August 9. Now, when it's going to be the start of the semester, you know that there will be a lot of orientation, and many of the student leaders in the university would be gathered because they need to also, even if they are not in campus, but still have to do some of the work for the students. So I think it's good to talk about leadership. And we don't know because at the end of every school year, um, OSA, the Office of Student Affairs, is supposed to nominate, diba? Nominate uh, at least one student for the TOSP. So I don't know if they did that, but I hope they did. I don't have any idea anymore. So, sige, maybe let's move to something that is for me very particularly interesting because I never experienced it. After graduation from UP, I only had CMU as my only work history. So right after I graduated, maybe a month after graduation or more than a month after graduation, I got hired in CMU, and that's it. And I've been in CMU since then, decades already. So, but you different path. This is what I would like to emphasize. You are supposed to have a very bright future for a corporate. Meralco. Meralco is a very big company. We know it to be a major company in Manila or in Luzon, or is it the entire country? Jerry can tell us more about that later on. And I think you got that opportunity to work for Meralco because also of, I think, a scholarship or something else. So you can let us know about that. The thing is that some people dream of having this kind of work environment, the corporate environment, be the yuppie in Manila, um, things like that, air conditioned offices, so many opportunities, etc. And you were there for 15 months. And then you left it to work as an instructor with less pay, tama? With lesser pay compared to your corporate job. And I would like to know, although I sort of have a little bit of an idea because of your story, but maybe not everybody understand that. You leaving a very highly potential corporate job to work for an academe with a no with a lower salary and with many struggles, and you doing all the legwork, building preparing all the talks and preparing for a curriculum to offer a new degree program for UPLB. So my question is, why that decision? And please try to explain, the good things about a corporate job, but why do you find also joy in doing public service by working for a government agency? So, difference of a corporate job to an instructor job with lower pay.
Okay, so I'll begin how I got to Meralco. Meralco is actually the largest electric distribution utility company in the Philippines. It serves 55% of the country's energy needs in an area where 25% of the population resides. So it has actually a huge responsibility and role in mobilizing our country, energizing our country. And I was a former intern at Meralco. So we had a 1 month. I had a 1 month internship in Meralco. And then after graduation, they recruited me to be one of their management trainees, and was actually hired as a regular and exempt employee on my first day of office. So I did not undergo a probationary status, and then my position is managerial. And what I was doing there is actually challenging, and it requires you to think a lot. It requires you to um, engage with a lot of people, where we are doing projects to improve the supply chain process and logistics operations in Meralco, to cut the costs, to improve the process, and to reduce the risks of certain operations. Although I can't drill down further, but it's actually challenging. And what I love about it is that um, it hinahasa yung ano mo, yung thought process. I think it's one of the things that you can't just find anywhere, and also the mentorship. Like I was even advised that uh, my mentor said that I was brilliant, but I was too kind or humble, that I lose the appeal, I lose the angas daw. So I think it's something that that I have to work on, and um, I have to build my confidence further, despite of the things I have achieved. There's still times that I doubt myself, but uh, I met a lot of people in Meralco. The good thing about it is that I made a lot of lifelong relationships. I made a lot of friends. My worldview was technically opened up, and I saw the world in a wider lens. And I was challenged. I got tired, but I also got inspired. But one day the phone rang, and someone called me to apply in UPLB, and then I actually applied to that, but uh, I was unsure if I'll be accepted, because there were three of us who were interviewed and had the teaching demo. So the first one had a PhD, the first one has a PhD, the second one has an MS. Then here's me from CMU, and
BS.
just a BS graduate. And the first two are graduates of prominent schools, but I was actually rejected at first, but they they uh they called me again if I'm still willing to accept the position. And then on that day that I knew that they're gonna offer me the position, I'm really confused if I'm still going to pursue my corporate job in Meralco, because coming from a poor family, I don't think it's a bad thing to desire, or we once prayed to receive a lucrative salary, and then here's now it is offered to you. I don't think it is bad for you to receive, to to for your for your prayers to be answered. And what I just thought is that I think I can contribute more, and uh, uh, I'd like also to emphasize that UPLB is in need of people who will build the pioneering department and the pioneering program. And I was sure that someone else can always replace me in Meralco. They can always. There's a lot of brilliant people in Meralco, actually. It's one of the good things that I had in Meralco. I got to work with brilliant people. So
Brilliant.
yeah, and they're also kind, brilliant, and humble people. So I think that's what makes them more amazing. The combination of the three. And yeah, as I mentioned, UPLB is in need of people who will build the department, and it actually reignited my my passion for mechanical engineering. And um, I'm actually about to leave the country to pursue my MS in Japan. And
Yes, we're gonna talk about that later.
And for me, being in the academy is, for me, it's a youthful environment. It's an inspiring environment. To see students grow, and then eventually you unleash them to the world, and then they contribute to the world in their own ways. I think it's very fulfilling. And I think it's also one of my expertise. I want to build my expertise in engineering. It's about looking a niche where you can contribute more, where you can see your passion, where you can see where your goals are coinciding, and where you can help the community and the country. So I think if these three coincides, then you have to definitely go for it. And when I decided to to move to UPLB, I was happy and at peace. So I was sure that I did the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Um, that's why I know I think of you like my brother actually, no, like a brother. Because I can see a lot of things that keep me grounded on idealism. I've heard you talk about idealism, but we'll talk about that later. Because although my concept of idealism is different. Idealism for me is always trying to aim for what is good. Okay, although the real world doesn't happen all the time. There would always be bottlenecks and barriers towards you trying to sustain and be consistent doing the right thing and doing what is good. But that is idealism. Your goal and your vision doesn't change, although you have to adapt to reality. Because I sort of heard you talk about idealism in your, well, Jerric was
Comments
the keynote speaker or commencement speaker in the recent virtual graduation of the senior high school for Valencia National High School. His alma mater, again, his alma mater. So actually, I will talk about that later. But because when listening to you talk about your, you know, journey from Meralco to UPLB, all I was thinking while listening to is that, yeah, money matters definitely, but uh, not everything in the world is about money.
Nani?
Because
Yes.
you said that earlier, like there's nothing wrong with desiring to have financial stability for your family. For our family, we always desire that, especially when we went through life with lack of things, lack of finances. So the first thing that we always think is, we want to help the family, we want to have a good job so that we can have a good salary, help the family. And then you said, well, I'd like to actually contribute. So it's for people like you, and I think for people like you and me, money is good. Definitely money is good, but there's a different kind of fulfillment. There's a
Yes.
different kind of wealth when you talk about, being able to contribute, being able to being given the opportunity to use your gifts. And I think that your 15 months in Meralco helped you a lot actually become a better pillar, because I would call you now a pillar for the program in UPLB, for the ME programs. No? So you at a very young age is one of the pillars of that particular department now, of the particular program, and you being exposed to corporate life. So this is the thing, and I'm not sure if you fully agree, but you can comment. I always believe that everything in life prepares us for the next. Everything that we go through prepares us for the next, whether it is circumstance, whether it is event, but whether it is if it's people, whether difficult or good people, everything and everyone prepares us for the next. So that's just me. That's just me speaking as an older person, but yeah, that's why they say have reached a different kind of maturity when the changes in your life, you consider that to be opportunities for better things, and the difficulties in your life, you consider them to be blessings for be blessings. There's always a blessing behind it. So kana lang siya. I'm trying to mix the language. So yeah, that's my takeaway from your story. You shifting from Meralco to UPLB, and now, so you've been with UPLB since 2019, and today is July 24, 2021, and you actually have qualified for a master's program. So you're preparing to go to Japan. I knew about that earlier, but haven't talked about the details of that. But I knew you got vaccinated a few days earlier because will be leaving for Japan soon. So congratulations on your scholarship. That's just a scholarship, right? So
Yeah, it's a scholarship.
please tell us, where will you be going? What university will you go? What is your program? I think it's still ME, but in Japan they have a different kind of name, I think, for
Yes.
for their program. And are you still linked with UPLB, which means that after you finish your degree program, you're expected to be back? And so, what's the scholarship? How did you get it? And where are you going? What's your program? And etc. And ano bang sasabihin ko sa'yo? I don't know how to say congratulations in Japanese. Okay,
I don't know either.
I forgot to learn that. I know arigato gozaimasu. That's thank you very much. I know hayo gozaimasu. That good morning? I think so. Konnichiwa,
Yeah.
konbanwa. I know those things, but I haven't learned congratulations. It would be nice to congratulate you in Japanese. So anyway,
Thank you.
please. Oh, you can say arigato.
Arigato.
Arigato. And you look Japanese, Jerric, so I think
Okay.
you're meant to go. Sige, please tell us about this wonderful blessing that you again received.
So I'll be pursuing my master's degree in mechanical and space engineering at Hokkaido University in Japan.
Hokkaido.
So, Hokkaido, Japan. This October 2021. So I'm currently filing my study leave requirements in UPLB because
Can you repeat your degree program, because that is something that is absolutely wonderful. Please repeat it.
yeah, I'll be pursuing mechanical and space engineering. So I'd like to emphasize space because I deliberately applied to this program because I'm really interested about space. And there's actually a need of space engineering experts in the country because we just have recently created our own Philippine Space Agency. It's the Philippines official space agency. It's called Philippine Space Agency. We have sent satellites to space, but we need more experts in the country that will hopefully allow us to launch our rockets on the Philippine island in Philippine soil.
Rockets? What do you mean by rockets? Sorry.
Hopefully we can launch our own rockets in the Philippines because currently we can't launch our own. We cannot bring our satellites.
Satellites, yes.
Space. And my research will focus on combustion, flame, and propulsion. I got accepted by I won the scholarship award. It's called MEXT. The abbreviation is MEXT, but it stands for the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, and
Technology.
Science and Technology.
Yeah.
Japan.
Just like DepEd or CHED in the Philippines. So
Yeah,
that's the Ministry of Education. So that's congratulations. That's not easy to get. It's very competitive also, highly competitive.
It's actually very competitive. I just realized that there are only 4 slots for master students in Hokkaido University to apply for to be qualified for the MEXT scholarship at the Graduate School of Engineering, and it's open to all nationalities.
Wow.
So I got 1 slot.
Do you know who will be your classmates, or do you have any idea who will be your fellow scholars in that program? Not yet.
I have no idea.
Okay. Maybe I need to talk to you again when you get there in Japan. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I've heard about Jerric's interest about space engineering. Because actually I've also, well, he sort of consulted about me about that. So I said, what, space engineering? But I said, I think that's really a very good area for you because, yeah, that's just like what he said. There is a need for the country if we need to be, to progress. And that's an area nga wala pa kaayo na doon na focus to develop experts, Filipino experts. So, how long is your program? Is it like 2 years or 3 years, or you have an option to proceed to PhD?
It's 2 years, and I actually have an option to pursue my PhD, but my current contract with UPLB is that
Excuse me.
I should go back to the country first, and then
Yes, 2 years.
yeah, and then before I pursue my PhD, because currently right now we are scarce, we are dearth of, we lack people for the ME department, and we all have to take turns. When I return to UPLB, someone else will have to pursue their degree studies.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just very curious because I did not watch the news coverage, but I sort of saw I read a little bit of news flash about Bezos, tama? Sino ba yon? Yung he was in space, he's a billionaire, launched a rocket, and he was there, and he was in space for about 5 minutes. So like, do you also see yourself wishing to be out in space somehow?
I think it's everyone's dream to become an astronaut. So
Okay.
I still have that dream inside me, but we have to keep our dreams and expectations high, but we have to remain realistic that it's extremely competitive to become one. And what I wanted to contribute, what I foresee now is to develop the talents and skills and the technologies in our home country, in the Philippines, in terms of space science and engineering. And you have to address that. You have to address the pipeline of dedicated graduates who will major in this field. So I think we have to educate them. We have to train them. That is why I wanted to pursue this. So I might not become an astronaut, but I wish to contribute to the development of the country's space science
agency.
Space
Right.
agency.
Right. So there's a Philippine Statistics Authority, that's PSA, and the Philippine Space Agency is like PSA also. When you told me that last time we talked, or I think there was a time that you told me about it, and so where is the office located? Where is the agent? It's a new agency apparently. So where is it adjunct to? Is it with the UST, or is there a physical office for the Philippine Space Agency here in the country?
Actually, formerly there was no formal centralized space agency in the country. It's been handled by different agencies, and by with the creation of the Philippine Space Agency, or PhilSA, it aims to unite, to centralize the space related concerns and collaboration to other countries, because formerly it's very sporadic. Like there's no certain one office that is held accountable. Okay, so right now I'm not sure where is the office of the Philippine Space Agency, but it's strongly connected to UP Diliman actually right now.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, UP Diliman, I think, has the observatory. I think they have the facility for the observatory, space observatory. Yeah, I know I have a friend who works there. I'm just very curious because I'm glad you're pursuing that. It's something that is still unheard of. Nobody talks about space engineering, not even in CMU. I haven't heard of anybody except you from CMU who talked about space engineering. That's why I was actually very excited for you, and I wish you the best in this particular new journey, and definitely you. Aside from you being a pioneering faculty for UPLB for the ME department, for the ME program, I think you will also be one of the pioneering people for space engineering once the country would really dedicate a program for that. So
hopefully.
I'm not sure. I'm just curious if UPLB, by allowing you to go to Japan to pursue that program if UPLB will also be thinking about offering a program on space engineering, right? Because UPLB has the space, the Liman doesn't have the space. Literally space. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's very good to know, and I hope that for other ME students, CMU or maybe other schools, I don't know of any other school that is offering ME. So PLB nga walang ME ka. Di ba mag-ME pa lang? So, do you know of any other schools that offers mechanical engineering? Because CMU has offered that for how many years already? So it would be nice for anybody who's going to watch this video later. You just opened a new conversation for them. You just opened a new possibility for them to pursue that Filipino could be a space engineer. Filipino could also be, and somebody from CMU may have, a career on space engineering. So yeah, that's really wonderful. Would you like
Actually,
to add?
I'd like to add, Ma'am Joy. Actually, mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering, aeronautics and astronautics, as astronautical and aeronautical engineering are actually very related fields. And the official name of my program is actually mechanical and space engineering. And um, they're actually interrelated. And ME is a very broad discipline that encompasses many other disciplines, including space engineering. And I don't think it's an issue for me if I'll pursue ME or space engineering because, again, as I mentioned, they're interrelated. And I also would like to take the opportunity, for those who will be watching this video, to apply for soon we'll be opening faculty positions in UPLB. We need people. So if you wanted to apply, you're very much welcome. We're advertising. You're very much welcome. We need people. Actually. We will hire 8.
So I think UPLB should actively recruit some of the graduates of your program in CMU. So I don't know who's the department chair now, but I'll let them know that UPLB is looking for ME graduates to serve, to be part of the faculty pool, especially that you are leaving for your graduate studies also for 2 years. Yeah. So that's thank you for that. So you're opening several doors already. Okay, so because of that, and we've been talking about your milestones actually since you were a student and in your work, now that you're going to Japan soon. By the way, are you required to learn the Japanese language for you to qualify to the program, or it's going to be in English? It's a program that will be taught in English.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. The name of the Graduate School of Engineering at Hokkaido University has this E-Cube or E3 program. It's an abbreviation for English Engineering Education. So all courses will be delivered in English, and we're not required to study the Japanese language, but we have the option to study Japanese if you want to. And I also plan to enroll.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because you will enjoy. I've been to Japan for twice. My first visit to Japan was for a month and a half, I think, for a training, and then for 3 days for a meeting, for a conference. So you learning Japanese language a little bit would even enrich your experience in Japan. You will enjoy more the food, culture, the people. It will be very easy for you to travel if you know language, a little bit of the language. And maybe people will expect you to speak Japanese because you do look like a Japanese. But if you go to Vietnam, if you go to Taiwan, if you go to Korea, people always say, "Oh, you look like a Korean. Oh, you look like
I look to Asian.
I think you're universal. You're an international citizen in Asia. But anyway, sige. So because of so many milestones in your life that are very inspiring, Jerric, if ever you have anything to add, let me know because you can always share that later. One of the most recent things that you did as your way to contribute to young people and to your community and society was to be the keynote speaker of the recent
Yeah.
virtual graduation. So you said that it was your first time to be invited as a speaker for a commencement exercise. Me parang I've been invited also once, but I sort of also talked for a recognition program like a few times. So but it was during the time when you have face to face. But
Yeah.
you did something that is really different because it was an online, it's a virtual recognition. And I was very happy that I caught that, although it was late, but since it was virtual, the advantage is that you can go back and
Yeah. Can
and
rewind.
rewind. And I just learned today Saturday. So I just learned yesterday that my godchild was actually one of the graduates. So I didn't know until I saw the the post of his father that he graduated. I said, "Oh my God, you were part of the he was part of the graduating class where Jerric spoke." And then when I met the mom, I said, "Congratulations dun sa godchild ko. Congratulations." And then sabi ko, did you listen to the talk of the guest speaker, of the keynote speaker? And then she said, yes, and it was wonderful. Sabi ko, yeah, that's why I was encouraged. Some the guest speaker, the guest speaker himself encouraged me to go back and listen to his talk, and it was worth it because somebody even confirmed that ang ganda ng talk, ang ganda ng speech. So that's what I would like to sort of center this time. Like, what did you speak about? It was something different. You know, somehow it's kind of impersonal if you just because you said you just recorded actually your speech. It was not something
Yeah.
like this. That it is actual conversation. You recorded it, but even if it was recorded, um, I know from somebody an affirmation that you delivered a very wonderful message for the graduates. So, for the benefit of everybody who may be watching this video, listening to this, what were the key messages that you shared to the graduating class? Because those are the students who will be entering as new as first year people
First
for
year.
maybe for CMU. Many of them will be in CMU and for other schools also. So they will be the college, university students and college students. What did you tell them? What was your message to them? Um, yeah, what was your
Actually,
message to them?
it's more about uh keep on going on, knowing your purpose in life, and what else? Can't recall it. It's actually very long. I wrote it for
No, you don't have
4
to
days.
deliver the entire message again. But
Okay.
let's say the key
Here, I got
points
it.
in that message.
Yeah.
But but you did say something. If you may allow me to, sorry if I'm disturbing your train of thought. You did say something about their purpose in life. Do you think senior high school students, let us say, how old are they? 17 years old, 18 years old? Do you think they have that grasp of, this big question of, because I know of many adults who are still struggling to know of their
Yeah.
purpose in life. So why did you speak about purpose in life to very young people? Why did you take that opportunity to for that be one of the key messages of your talk?
As we grow older, we are hunted by these very disturbing questions in life about what's the meaning of purpose in life? Do I really have a choice? Or uh, what else? What comes after death? So there's actually a lot of questions when we grow older, and I think we have to make them aware that uh, you know nothing is constant in life, and we will always undergo changes. We'll always leave people. We'll always leave places. We will outgrow some personal principles or values, and we're going to deal with a lot of people. And for now, I asked them kung ano ba yung what are the things that must keep them going. And for me po kasi personally, when I graduated in high school, my worldview was really very narrow, and I do not know what I was doing. But I have this one goal, and what I wanted to emphasize is you may not be able to determine what you really want, but just don't stop. Just find a goal, find an inspiration, and then eventually everything else follows. And it's okay to be unsure in life sometimes, but do not allow yourself to be dearth, to be scarce, to be lacking of reasons, purpose, and meaning. And you can start somewhere small. You can start within your family. Like if you wanted to improve your quality of life, if you wanted to we always wanted to like serve better food. We wanted to be educated in better university. We wanted to travel to other places. So we wanted to spend our time with our family. So I think we have to start somewhere small. And I don't think it's even small because your family is everything that you have. Whatever you will achieve in life and wherever you will go, you'll always go back to your family. And start. You don't have to start somewhere really big. So start within your family. So that's one of my messages. So I actually opened commencement transcript, and I had the summary here. So what I wrote there is I said kanina, it is okay to be unsure in life sometimes, but do not allow yourself to be scarce of dreams, hopes, and purpose. That failure is part of success because it builds your character and the humility. And hard work is not enough. You must equip it with faith. They must come together. And always believe in yourself, because there may be a lot of people who will believe in you, or people who will doubt in you, but none of them matters if you don't believe in yourself. And to cherish your family and friends, as I mentioned earlier, because wherever you go, whatever you will achieve in life, you always gravitate back to your family and friends. And they keep you human. They keep you who you are. And the last one would be to embrace diversity and to always be kind.
Yeah, that's why from the mom of one of the graduates, she did say that was a very wonderful message, no? And even before she told me that's what I also said to you. That was a very good keynote speech. So, and I think serious questions in life need to be discussed early on. You don't have to wait for people to be 30 years old, 40 years old before you talk about death, life, purpose, contribution to society, things like that. I think I believe that such serious questions and tough questions need to be discussed early on. Maybe you don't expect the young people give you very profound answers, but at least it's very important for them to hear that there are important things that matter aside from their games and their computer games and other things and crushes and stuff like that. Because because it's like sowing the seed. It's like sowing the seed of those ideas that you are an individual, do not wait for you to become old and gray and jaded and discouraged and things
Yeah.
like that before you talk about such things. It's very important for adults, for parents, maybe for guardians, sort of, discuss, open up these things, but in a simpler way, as you've said, start small, start simple. But those types of conversations, those questions need to be asked early on. I think that is kind of sowing the seeds for these young people to start thinking. And it will take a few years for them to really form their own principles in life,
Yeah.
but their ideas of such, topics like you mentioned. But this is why this was actually my question after I listened, after I watched your talk, because I said, why did he speak of so serious things? Because your message, some parts were very light, but at the middle and near the end, your message were very deep. And I really wanted to ask you, like, why did you decide to speak of these things? And now I have the answer that we have to start something small and something simple. So I think I really appreciate that, because as my feedback, I had this expectation after the first cohorts of the K to 12 program. Remember in 2018, I think it was 2018, when we had the first graduates of the K to 12. So I had very high expectations, like, whoa, we will be welcoming 18 years old or 19 years old or 20 years old as the fresh people in the university, first year women and men. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody could comment or react later on. It was a little bit, like, I was I my expectation fell down, like, these students are so well. They was I cannot say the word.
I can say the word. I got it, Mom Joy. I would understand.
I cannot say the word. I said, oh my god, what happened to the tier difference? We were still thinking like really high school. And I was
Yeah.
expecting more mature students, and I don't know why. And maybe because uh maybe because they didn't have conversations like this, or they didn't hear conversations like you. The funny thing, somebody maybe mad at me, but the funny thing is that um I listened to the keynote speaker, the valedictory address, of someone for the elementary, no, for the elementary. And I knew that it was not the student who wrote. Sorry about that, but grade 6 person cannot really cannot really speak
Comprehend
about
it.
such things. I would rather hear, somebody, a sixth grader, talk about, dreams of a sixth grader,
Mm.
wishes to be, how what to expect for high school.
Yeah.
And that's my mentality. But when I listened to you, I said, I think what he said is really right, because these are senior high school graduates, and are preparing for university or college life. And I hope they listen to this keynote speaker. I hope they listen to Engineer Jerric Delfin, because when some of them would be going to CMU, I hope that the seeds of those serious questions have been implanted in their brain, and they're going to explore the answers to those questions, as they go through university life, as they go through college life. So I was so glad to listen to that message of yours. Okay, so
Thank you, Mom.
yeah, and I think you have a lot of comments, in the streaming na, no? So our language really is changing. But anyway, so, oh my god, it's almost 1 hour and a half conversation with you. But now I have answers to some of my questions. And so moving on, maybe would be my last two questions for you. I seldom hear people in CMU. I'm so sorry to say that, but I seldom hear people from CMU commonly use the word mentor. And you've mentioned the word mentor like twice or three times in this conversation. Um, often hear students in the university, call us teachers. A few would call them as professors, but seldom do I hear young people in the university use the word mentor. What do you mean by mentor? Because I think you are a beneficiary of so many mentors in your life. You've never mentioned actually the word teacher or professor, or did you? You've used the word mentor. Why? What's your definition of mentor, and why do you have the preference for this word? I mean, it's just my curious question after listening to you. Um, why the preference for the word mentor? What's the difference of a mentor from a teacher? Because I think they share some common denominator, but um, because I have a bias for people, I have a bias for people who use the word mentor. So can you please comment to that?
Actually, I think what a mentor would. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
It's okay. I think you know, mentors are also teachers, except that there's some kind of like added value on them. Um, you build deeper connections. It's not that you only teach knowledge. It's not that you only transfer knowledge or skills, but I think it's also about values. And then usually mentors are people who are older than you. So I think that's a default definition of mentor, because I believe that they have the experience. They have they had the time. They met more people. They encountered more problems. They basically they have more experience than you. And yeah, it's not uh, it's not that uh, it's not enough to just teach certain knowledge or skills. But I think it's better if we create personal relationships with our teachers, with our mentors, because they're part of your life, even just for one course, or maybe you just pass by his or her office, and then you talk quite some time, and then it's about transfer of values, knowledge, skills, and habits. And you have to build deeper connections. Maybe you can consider them as one of your lifelong friends, lifelong sisters, brothers, teachers. So someone who is, someone who will not only mold the technical side of you, but someone who will mold you as a human being. So that's how I define the mentor, and hopefully I could find one. I could find more people like you, Ma'am Joy, because I'm amazed by your kindness, your humility, and your braveness. You know these things seem to be things that are paradoxical. You're brave and kind. These things don't normally come together, but we have to normalize that people like this exist. There are kind people who are really monstrous when they get angry, something like that.
Sorry.
Because it's it's reasonable, and I hear things about you, Ma'am Joy, actually.
Yeah. I'm very strict. Sorry.
But I'm it's actually impressive to see people like this, those who are very vocal about their frustration, but people who are also brave and kind, people who are so humble, so approachable. but sometimes they're also very intimidating.
Very tough.
So, very tough, yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
digressing already.
No, but thank you for that, because I absolutely agree with what you said. I've had a lot of teachers. I've always appreciated my teachers since my preschool up to my graduate studies. I've had different kinds of teachers, and one thing that I would always say in my acknowledgments is that I always value what I learn from every teacher, whether a tough teacher, a tough professor, or a gentle one, or a weird one, or whatever, the usual traditional image of a professor, a teacher. I've I've never questioned them because I know that people would be different, teachers would be different. What I would always value is that I'm always grateful for whatever I learn from them. And what you said about mentorship is that um, the learning process is even beyond the classroom, and you don't have to be in a classroom for you to find a mentor, for you to be able
Yeah.
to recognize a mentor. And what you said is that mentorship could be it could be lifelong. And then it's more of, for me, mentorship is now you're on equal footing. It's
Yeah.
not always a one-way process. The real mentorship for me is that you can sit and talk about anything, and you don't judge a person because this is, this would be the weaknesses of this person, this would be the strengths of this person. It's more about how you can grow one another, how you can grow one another. That's really what I look for for mentors. So I've never been a student of CMU, but I have a few mentors in CMU, people whom I consider to be source of wisdom, who would never judge me because I'm younger than them or I'm older than them. Um, for me, regardless of age, as long as you know that this person shares your values, or are aspiring to learn from this person better values and better perspectives in life, it's not about chemistry or genetics or a
Yeah.
specific topic. It's about really about life. Mentorship is about growing more in life. And so, yeah, so in that way, you have become a mentor to me. That's why I always say I'm always inspired by young people. I'm so inspired by people who, this is what I always say, young people, I look for young people who fuel me to push on to my mission, because now I'm getting old. Sometimes I get jaded with work. I get frustrated with work. But whenever I hear of a good news like your successes, your milestones, you get, okay, my investment, not financial investment, but it's more of a, I don't know, it's a different kind of invest. It's the investment to contribute to the universe.
Yeah.
It's paying off, and you get fueled. Okay, push on. One good news is enough for you to move ahead and you know finish off another semester in spite of the difficulties. But one, two, three people who are moving on with their lives and inspiring older people like me. Yeah, so for me, mentor could be regardless of age. It doesn't have that's where maybe we differ, because you consider only older people
So literal.
to be mentors for me. Even young people can be mentors for me. Okay? Because I think one thing is that you can establish, you can identify who are your mentors, especially if the first thing is that if they inspire you. So that's
That is
that's
right.
the thing for me, inspiration. So
Inspiration.
yeah, so that's why it's one of the words I will always associate with mentor. So regardless of age, anyone could be my mentor. Anyone could be a mentor for me. So all right. Okay. And okay, I think this has been quite a long conversation. I'm looking forward, Jerrica, because by the way, when are you leaving? If you don't mind, sharing, is
I haven't
there a
processed
definite date
my.
already?
There's no definite date yet.
Okay, but school will start for you in October, right? It's a fall
Yeah.
semester. Is it fall or ano ba? Winter?
It I'm not aware.
Okay, you're not
if
yet
it's
sure because
not yet sure.
in the US, August and September, October will be fall semester. It's called fall semester, and then January will be spring semester. I don't know. I know that April in Japan is spring. By the way, where's Hokkaido? Can you give us a mental map where Hokkaido is? Because I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Nagoya, but
Right.
of course I know about Hokkaido. I've been to Tsukuba, but I haven't been to Hokkaido. Where is Hokkaido in Japan? Japan is a long country,
Yeah,
an
it's a long
elongated country. So where will you? Okay, Tokyo is the capital of Japan, correct? Am I correct? Or maybe
Yes.
not?
Yeah, Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Actually, Hokkaido is the second largest island of Japan, and it's located at the northernmost part of
Oh,
Japan.
it's
And
gonna be
Hokkaido,
cold. It's
it's
going to be
actually very
cold.
cold. Winter
Okay.
there would also take would take 6 months. As I watched YouTube videos, there were times that winter would last for 6 months. So
Oh my God.
it's colder, and it's actually closer to the coast of Russia than its capital, Tokyo. Sapporo is
Oh,
closer to
really?
the coast of the east coast of Russia than its capital, Tokyo.
Ah, okay.
And it's really cold there.
So you better be ready. Like, is hopefully your scholarship will. I think your scholarship will provide for clothing allowance, living allowance. I think correct.
They actually give us extra allowance during winter season.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
So,
for the efficacent oil because I'll get
no,
panuhot that time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
because
I'll get
sorry,
panuhot.
I don't like the smell. So maybe oil na lang. Thermals. Definitely invest in thermals.
Yeah,
Thermals. And then layer. But it would be fine. So I'm looking forward to you sending me a postcard from Hokkaido, okay?
sure. It's my
Sure.
pleasure.
Yeah. Although you know what? Some of my friends have sent me postcards. So postcards from Germany, postcards from this and that, and I've never received them because we don't have a post office anymore in CMU. The post office in Maramag, I think some of my postcards are still there. So because they said I've sent them postcards to like years last year and you haven't received them yet. Yeah, I haven't received them yet. But
You have to
anyway,
you have to retrieve them.
yeah, I think I have to go there and dig into the pile. But sige, I'm just happy for you and please constantly share about updates because again your updates are inspiring not just for me but for your family, for your relatives, and for many young people who look up to you, especially your students. Oh, by the way, that's my question. I forgot to ask that. Um, you are how is goodness because you're not like me. I've taught for how many years before I experienced the online learning, and I had to I had to scramble for it, and I'm older than you definitely. Were you able to easily adapt to the online learning system because you're younger, you're more techy than me, and maybe UPLB has more technologies or more I don't know software or apps. I don't know, but in general, because classes will start, I always ask this from the people I talk to, like, what has been your experience in teaching students online, and what are the good takeaways that you can share with me and with others that could also be useful for us, especially that we will start soon, next month, like a few weeks from now, and that will be classes again for CMU online until December and hopefully face to face by next year. Can you please share about that? That will be my second to the last question.
Okay. I actually had a chance to teach face to face for around 4 to 5 months before the
One
quarantine
semester.
began,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually challenging to. Nobody is really prepared for the distance learning setup, and all of us has to revise, to collaborate, and to excavate our minds on how are we going to deal with this for, we don't know, maybe for the next, hopefully next 1 year. I don't know how long will this end, and it's actually challenging at first. We did the best that we can, as I mentioned, I think from my previous comment, I can't recall kung saan. We always have that dichotomy of control, and the dichotomy of control are things that within our control and things that are not within our control. And we are putting our time, our energy, our resources, everything that we have to bring to think for the best and to bring up the best. And actually for me, there's no challenge in navigating the internet, but the most challenging thing for me is to keep students engaged, because we have a different policy in UP. Students are not required to join synchronous discussions, because we think that we believe that students are responsible to study on their own, so they have to study it on whatever time they prefer. And I noticed most students right now are nocturnal. They're active from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Then they sleep at day during the daytime. And when I have my synchronous discussions, there are only 1, 2, or 3 people who are attending, and
oh my God.
students just rely on the recording, and it's a bit disparaging for the teacher to watch only 3 students, or I don't even know if they're really listening or they're just there for the sake of courtesy attendance, because attendance is not required. But the good thing about it is that we give the window to the student. We give them the responsibility, and we also adjust our requirements. We require learning logs, and we devised our exams such that it's tailor fit for every student. No, every problem that is to be solved by the student is unique for his or her. And what else? There's something I missed to mention that I was about to say.
How did that? Because you said that everybody had really been scrambling, but how did the university, in a way, help the faculty, UP or the UPLD specifically to prepare and to have some time to catch up or establish a rhythm for teaching online?
We actually had series of trainings, how to build, how to write a course pack, how to make it user friendly, how to write it in such a way that it's the best that it can be. It's the simplest thing that the student should use, or as much as possible, the student must not look for other resources. Although we encourage students to use other resources, but we wanted to keep our course packs as standalone, that they don't have to spend data or internet to look for other information or to download videos, because everything is there already. And we prepared recorded lecture videos. We wrote like a 300 to 400 page course pack for the entire semester, and I was actually an author of 2 course packs, and it's actually laborious, and it's hard to because engineering is we can compare, every discipline is different. There may be similarities, but there are things that will set engineering to other fields like sciences or maths or arts. Meron po talagang pagkakaiba, and it's so hard to put every word that you say in the classroom to explain the process, because as an engineering student and as future engineers, you have to build their analytical and problem solving skills on how are they going to strategize solving this problem, because unlike writing essays, solving problems in engineering may be one off, or there's only one solution to this problem, or two, but definitely finite number of solutions to this problem. And um it's challenging to put everything into words. And
Right.
we just did our best. And we do not want to stress ourselves on things that we cannot control, things like cheating, although we take it seriously, or um the some students are demotivated, although there were interventions for students to keep them motivated. But it's entirely other things are entirely out of
Right.
out of our
Agree.
control. So yun lang, we do our best, especially in administering exams. It's laborious. We give every student a problem that is unique for him or her. So he has no other choice but to solve the problem for himself or herself, because no one else would solve.
No one else has the same problem.
No one else has the same problem.
The same problem. Yeah, that's something that's a very good practice for your discipline, and maybe that's something that we could also learn. Maybe it's also possible to adapt to CMU, but that's something that is really worth thinking about. Although we know the difference when you mentioned that you expect your students to have more independence, to have the capability to do independent learning. But you do know that some students also need more supervision. So that's why, balancing you as a teacher, the very challenging thing is that a number of your students can handle independent learning and a number of your students cannot. That's why it's a little bit, you're kind of in the middle. It's kind of really challenging, but I think that's where your creativity as a faculty, as a professor also comes in. So I think for me, the takeaway from our conversation, especially for this topic, is that even teaching is a continuous learning process. Even how to teach well is a continuous learning process.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not just learning is the process, but even the teaching, we need to learn and relearn things, think and rethink things, if we really want to teach the best we can, to give the best we can in the circumstances that we have right now, in the resources, in the limited resources that we have. So I'm glad that I have asked that. I'm glad that I remember to ask that, because I've been meaning to ask that. Okay, so I'm looking forward to another conversation with you. But I think it's been quite some time and you have other things to do. So
It's okay,
I would just like to ask you for I wanted to ask this earlier, but I sort of forgot. What is one word that you always associate with your principal in life? Or do you have a word, just one word, or not one word, but you have, one full statement of a principle you hold on in life? Because you said nothing is constant in life. And I wanted to debate when you said that, because I said, no, there are some things that are constant in life. Because I would, I wanted to debate, but I sort of, okay, I'll just let it go. So, so for example, me, trying to learn about gratitude to be one of the constant things in life. So I know from a young person like you, of maybe one word or life principle that has become constant in you since you were young and until now. Because I believe that there has to be something constant in life.
Yeah. I think what comes out of my mind really is right now is integrity. Like although I said earlier that nothing is permanent in life, but I'll take siguro an exception on things that we keep on holding on since we were sentient beings. We're able to decide on our own. I think it's about integrity. Like, wherever you will be in whatever situation you're in, or even if you're being grilled to do otherwise, but I think integrity is uh, has a big part on your being, and it should remain constant throughout your life.
Yeah.
It's either it's constant or it's parang nag-upgrade siya, parang it's getting stronger. It's set on a stronger foundation, or things like that.
Thank you for that. Again, seldom do young people like you talk about integrity. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I also believe in that. Integrity is something that we need to work on. It's good to have that awareness to aspire for be a person of integrity and to level up and deepen our commitment, become persons of integrity. And I'm thankful that that is your well, that's the thing that you would leave me with for this first part of the conversation, and that's the thing that you would leave the people who will be watching this video later. So thank you, Jerric, and it's not just a wish, no. I have well wishes for you, but not just well wishes, but prayers for your continuous growth and success. And I believe that many of your dreams, you will be able to realize them, because I believe in your values, in your core as a young person. You have the right values. And for me, the most important thing would always be about character and values. Intelligence, yes. Intelligence, you have that. And there are many intelligent people on the earth. Skills, competence, and dami-daming being skillful and very competent. But I think the challenge of the constant challenge and calling for every generation would always be to build a good character and a good foundation of values. So I think you're a young person as an old soul. So I hope you don't disagree with me on that.
I'm just a tired child when I was younger. Joke lang. I don't know. I think it's about, for me, ma'am, it's about like experience, meeting different people, watching a lot of documentaries, reading different books, and being confronted by things that I am not comfortable about. I think it really changes your perspective in life. So that is why I always encourage people to accept being so repulsive of things that are challenging to us. We should start embracing some things that are challenging, some problems, because the more that we are repulsive, the more that our outlook in life is
Yeah, I think di ba gold is tested in fire? O tama ba yun? Gold is tested. Gems are, gems are born out of pressure. The most expensive diamond, is because of too much pressure. So yeah, I think that has been the one of the themes of our conversation this afternoon, that we should not be shying away from, serious topics or serious questions or serious conversations, or be scared or worry about problems, because everybody has a problem. But I think the most important thing is for us to challenge ourselves, become better and better handling problems, or become better and better at problem solving. I think that's a very important skill in life. Have a positive mindset about problems. Instead of looking at them as problems, they would become opportunities. That's what I believe in. Although I have to remind myself also, because I have to constantly remind myself, like, okay, Joy, these are not problems, these are opportunities. Changes are meant to be stepping stones for better things. Constant reminder. Just us or me or you talking about these things doesn't mean that we are the epitome that when there's a problem, say, problem lang yan. No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a constant reminder that no, problems are problems, yes. But we have the skills, we have the knowledge to know how to try to solve them, to address them, to handle them. So anyway, I wish this could be longer. I know I always believe this, the people you like to talk to could have hours of conversation and it will never be finished. So we need to finish this. Okay, so again, thank you, Jerric. There will be part 2 most definitely, especially when you're in Japan. I'll be requesting you for some time, especially updates from you. Maybe expecting you to say a few words in Japanese next time. Okay, but then I would say arigato gozaimasu, Jerric-san, and all the best. All the best in your next journey in life. And thank you for today.
Thank you din, Ma'am Joy. You are most welcome, and I'm looking forward for part 2 and
for the next.
And yeah, you can always PM me anytime. I will always find time.
Right.